What's good, Raider Nation? Welcome to Ready to Tape. And if this is your first time here, if you can't, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. And I appreciate everybody pulling up. As y'all can see, we're going to be talking about some head coaching candidates for the Raiders. And are they looking at defensive guys as far as head coaching? Two of them happen to be in-house already. One of them is a special teams guy. So let's go ahead and hop right into it. Raiders Beat put out an article talking about head coaching candidates for the Las Vegas Raiders. And I also seen, and that I'll add, that the Raiders aren't going to be talking to anybody for the head coaching job while they're in the playoff hunt. So as long as they're in the playoff hunt, I don't think they're going to be talking to any head coaches. But there was an article put out by Raiders Beat, and I'll go ahead and pull it up for y'all right now. And basically, it's just saying there's a few guys. Let me go back. And it's basically saying that there's a few guys that the Raiders were looking at. Raiders head coaching staff will include two members of their own staff. Now, you see right here a picture of Gus Bradley, and we know defensive guy, right? It says the Raiders aren't expected to reach out to potential head coaching candidates until after the season. But there are at least two in-house candidates that the Raider owners, Mark Davis, is reportedly considering. Interim head coach Rich Bisaccia is obviously in the running for the job. Gus Bradley's defense has been one of the pleasant surprises in Las Vegas this year. It would be a major blow for the Raiders to lose him in the offseason. So that's something definitely interesting that I wanted to talk about. How big of a loss would Gus Bradley be if we didn't have him return? Because you got to think about it. If we do bring in a different head coach, and you'll see some of these other head coaches in this list, and they're a defensive guy, then obviously Gus Bradley's not going to be here. So that right there may be, something we definitely have to think about in the future, something we have to look at. You see, there's a tweet. Aaron Wilson says Raiders are expected to look at multiple head coaching candidates, including Todd Bowles, Leslie Frazier, Gus Bradley, Rich Bisaccia, according to league sources. And it's going to be interesting because, a guy like Todd Bowles, we know is a defensive guy. And that's probably the most popular name on here. We know Gus Bradley, Bisaccia, and then there's Leslie Frazier, of course. Now, could we potentially go defensive? Could y'all see the Raiders going with a defensive head coach? I think it would be an interesting thing to do. But at the same time, I know a lot of people want to get a young-minded, creative offensive coordinator. Now, if we were able to get a head coach that was defense, I wouldn't be mad at that because I do want a dominant defense and I want a strong run game. And I think that would help us go a long way. People want to focus on the quarterback a lot, but I think having a good defense with a strong run game gets you a lot further instead of putting it all on one person. Now, if we got a young-minded offensive coordinator, that's fine. He could be the offensive coordinator while we have a head coach that's strictly defense, right? But the thing is, if we bring in a coach, like I said earlier, that is defensive guy, then that means Gus Bradley's time here will be over. So we kind of got to look at it from the flip side. And that doesn't mean just because we bring in an offensive guy that Gus Bradley will stay. It just means that there's probably a better chance he could potentially stay, especially the fact that he has a complete staff with him. He has all his people. He has Ron Miles, defensive back coach. He has Richard Smith, linebacker coach, right? Rod Marinelli, defensive line coach. So this defensive side of the ball, this defensive staff, it has a lot of credibility. And I don't know if they would potentially leave if a new offensive guy came in. But based on this list, Mark Davis, or you could say general manager Mike Mayock, is looking at the defensive side of the ball as far as the leader goes of this football team. So I just wanted to kind of touch on this real quick. I know some people have talked about it, but I think it was kind of pretty interesting dynamic that we would be looking at head coaches that pretty much run the defense. We'll see what happens after these next couple of weeks. We'll see what happens with the playoff hunt, with the playoff run, and then I'm sure we'll get more information. But if y'all can, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you like this video, if you want to see more videos like this about the Las Vegas Raiders, please hit the subscribe button. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Until next time, y'all, Ready to Tape.